Hello, sisters. Hello, women on the planet everywhere. This is Tonye from Freedom at the Crossroads. I help women everywhere look better, feel better, without the pressure of OPE, otherwise known as other people's expectations. I always have some days where I just feel like looking on the inside, observing and looking outwardly and observing what's going on in the world today, in our community of women globally. And I just have to say, I am not okay. I am not okay with watching and listening to my sisters, my mothers, my aunts, in various spaces, living lives that are unfulfilling, being stressed out, literally dying because their voices are silent. They've been silenced in very important places. Women have been silenced when it comes to voicing their needs. Women have been silenced when it comes to taking ownership of their bodies. Women have been silenced when it comes to the choices in life that they are told are for them. Women have been silenced when it comes to expressing their own needs, their own dreams, their own aspirations. I am not okay. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with the fact that women have been conditioned and domesticated throughout history, throughout the decades before my own decades of existence. I am not okay as I look into the future, as I look ahead presently and moving forward. I am not okay with what society says or what politics say women should aspire to, women should hope to expect, what women are being offered. I am not okay with that. Too many times we have been told to, limit our expectations. We have been told that we expect too much, or we're setting our standards too high, especially when it comes to relationships with the opposite sex. I am not okay with that. For a long time, under conditioning of society and culture and family and tradition, I spent a large portion of my life bending to the will of those expectations of other people, OPE, bending to domestication and conditioning. And this is not to, wallow or take the stance of being a victim. I am by no means a victim. Victimized in those instances by culture, by society, and in, past relationships that were unhealthy, but nonetheless, it was a journey. It was a journey toward awakening, to reclaiming and owning my power, who I am as an individual, who I am as a woman. And it continues to be a journey as I explore the space of self-care and teach other women to explore their own self-care and become empowered through that journey. Because believe it or not, self-care is activism, it is empowerment. And as you begin to reclaim ownership of your physical self, of your body, as you internalize those processes, and as you develop yourself from the inside out, also known as personal development, this begins to have a ripple effect in other areas of your life. You begin to open your eyes, and like I like to, reference one of my favorite movies, The Matrix. Once you take that blue pill of awakening, it's hard to go back to sleep, go back to accepting the status quo. And, what saddens me in a lot of instances is that a lot of women that I've come across don't even realize they're settling, don't even realize they're accepting conditioning and domestication. And I'm torn because I feel like in some instances, women are choosing to go back to sleep. Women are choosing to accept the status quo rather than push through the discomfort of awakening, the discomfort of self-development and reclaiming of your space and of your power. And it saddens me because I feel like there's so much that the world loses when we give in, when we accept domestication, when we accept conditioning, because that's a death in itself, a death of the dreams, a death of the gifts that we individually bring to this plane of existence. There's so much power. If only we could see the degree of power that is imbued, that is carried within each of the gifts we bring to this plane of existence, that would give so much and improve so much in the world we live in. And it bothers me. I don't know if it bothers you. Does it bother you? Because if it doesn't, that says a lot about your state of mind. And as women on a global level, my fear is that unless more of us awaken, and that's not to say this process isn't happening globally, because there are a lot of women across the globe, particularly the younger generation of women, that are rising up and being vocal and being active. The Me Too is a movement, is part of that. And other movements as well, where women are saying, enough is enough here in the U.S. politically, on the political front, where women are rising up and standing up and saying, I will no longer be silenced. But we need more of that. We need the fire to spread globally to the point where we overturn large sectors of, the status quo. There's a lot of misogynistic and patriarchal structures in place in much societies across the world, in places in Africa, in Europe, everywhere you go, misogyny and patriarchy, paternalistic forces are at play. And why? It's because there's a struggle for power. And unfortunately, there are parts of society and certain forces in society and structures, particularly those wielded by the men in the world, that half of the population, that wants dominance over women, over the power we have, and our personhood. And it's something that no one has a right to. We as individuals, forget about your gender, your sex, or whatever you want to call it. We as human beings are autonomous. We have our own power, our own autonomy, our own personhood, and no one has the right to that except you. And it's a sad thing that out of greed and other feelings or motivations, it's a sad thing that there are certain people that want to access something that is not theirs. But this is something humanity has battled throughout history, as long as history has been able to be recorded, is there will always be, unfortunately, there will always be those who want what others have. There will always be those who want what is not theirs. That is why we have fought wars. That's why there continues to be warfare. There continues to be a battle between forces of good versus evil, because there are always those who want what is not theirs. And the fact that you have large, sectors of the population, mainly men, old structures, that want what is not theirs. And they get off on dominating other portions, those they perceive as less than them, in order to maintain their status, their wealth, and their dominance. And they like it like that. And, they don't want that upset. So there's going to be pushback. And what we women need to realize is that we have to be ready for that. And so some women have decided that, for whatever reason, the cost of activism, the cost of standing up, the cost of reclaiming your power is more than they want to take on. But I'm not. I'm unwilling to be domesticated. And there's so many other women that are unwilling to be domesticated, to be dominated. Once you awaken, it's hard to go back. And this is Tonya from Freedom at the Crossroads, helping women everywhere look better, feel better without the pressure. Saying, break the wheel, be undomesticated, break the conditioning, let the goddess arise. It's the season of the huntress. Reclaim your power. Till next time.